Hello, everyone, and welcome to my DeviantArt page. um, so it's kind of recently occurred to me that I just kind of throw character art and videos out into the wide world of the internet without an explanation. I think I just assume that the people who look at my art are my close friends who already know everything about my stories, which that's not a good mindset to have, especially if I want to get more of a following. So today I thought I'd sit down with you guys and talk about the stories and characters that me and Grim Fuko have made and what their dealio is. And this is gonna be a train wreck because it's unscripted. So, of course, the first story we're going to talk about is Wanderers, my pride and joy, my baby. So, of course, here is the main cast. We have the Wanderers on the left and the followers on the right. It actually occurred to me that I've rarely said any of these characters' names on YouTube, and I rarely mention their names on any of my other social media platforms. A few of them actually recently got some name changes, so I figure what better time than now than to reintroduce everyone. So from left to right, we have Nova, Azura, Victor, Phoenix, Mara, Zack, Amber, and Aaron. These are your main characters. So, basic plot synopsis. Followers, controlled by Mara, want to take over Dreamworld, which is an alternate reality to basic Earth, but in this story it's called Real World. And it's up to the Wanderers, who are a reborn royal family, to stop them and make sure they don't take over. Um, a lot of you probably already know the origin story of the royal family and the noble families, so I won't get too much into it right now. So basically, once upon a time, the black and magenta nobles got really angry at the Blue Kingdom and decided, hey, let's kill their king and queen. And they're like, okay. And yeah, they killed the Blue King and Queen. It was tragic, but it also left their children, um, Prince Nathaniel and Princess Catherine, to rise to power. Everything was okay for a while, but then the Saiyan nobles decided to mess everything up even more because they were like, "Hey, King Nathaniel, do you hey, King Nathaniel, you know that girl you really like, Lady Adriana of the Yellow Nobles? Yeah, she's ours now. We're gonna marry her to our eldest child. Okay, bye." And King Nathaniel's like, "Excuse me?" So he ordered Catherine to get the armies and obliterate the Cyan and Yellow nobility, which turned out to be a massive flop because Adriana was caught in the crossfire and tragically died. And the eldest Cyan noble, who she was going to get married to, managed to escape to the real world. Now this is where things get funky, because from here you kind of have a timeline split to where you kind of get three possibilities, I guess. So in the main version, the one that everyone knows, Princess Catherine takes the blame for the Yellow and Cyan massacre and is hung for her crimes. And King Nathaniel is left to rule the Blue Kingdom for a few more years before he too passes. The two are able to reincarnate, so that's pretty cool, but at the expense of one half of Princess Catherine's soul. So Azura, the reborn Nathaniel, and Nova, one half of Catherine, get to continue on living and have the main adventure, while the other half of Catherine's soul becomes Luna, who is a moon spirit. She is able to watch over the Wanderers and make sure that they're okay, and still holds some caring nature for Azura. There are two other timelines that can happen when Nathaniel instead takes the execution instead of Catherine. It is the Fallen timeline and the Umbra timeline. And I've kind of been considering making the Umbras non-canon. I'll get back to you on that one. On the day I'm recording this, it's kind of iffy. I don't know, but the Fallen is definitely canon. This is like the bad timeline. If Nathaniel takes the blame, you are most likely going to get to this timeline, where in this timeline, Nathaniel keeps his name, he's still Nathaniel, but Catherine takes on the name Kali. And in this timeline, they decide to say screw it and just destroy everything and everyone and take over Dreamworld for themselves. Not fun. Going back to the main story of Wanderers, which, if you guys aren't understanding a thing I'm saying, please go check out the Wanderers playlist. Now that you guys have like this background information, maybe it'll help. Um, so anyway, going back to Wanderers, so Nova, I'm so sorry. Her name used to be Kat until literally today, so I have to get used to calling her Nova. So Nova and Azura are reincarnated along with Victor and Phoenix, and they hear through the grapevine that, oh no, some descendants of the magenta and black nobility are trying to take over Dreamworld. This isn't good. So they're like, heck, okay, listen, I know we literally hate each other and we kind of want to kill each other right now, but we have to band together and stop these guys so that our world doesn't get destroyed. And they're like, oh, fine, whatever, yada yada yada. Meanwhile, in real world, we have Aaron and Amber on their little escapade. So Amber, yes, is the reincarnated Lady Adriana, but she also got reincarnated at a price because she did something really bad and she gained magic before she was supposed to back in the olden days in an attempt to help out, in an attempt to try to stop the battle between the cyan and yellow nobility and the blue army. And we know how that ended. So she essentially got banished to the real world to live out her life, like ostracized. She managed to actually get it in and become popular enough to where she wouldn't get picked on, but she also made friends with Aaron, who is most certainly picked on and bullied and tormented because people found out that he's of Dreamworldian descent, and that is like a big no-no where the two of them live. It's high-key racism. It's what it is. So one day, Aaron is like, "Listen, Amber, I've had enough. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's not gonna be pretty." And Amber's like, how about let's not do that? And instead, how about I show you that life isn't so bad? Hey, let's go to Dreamworld. Wait, what? And then they go to Dreamworld, and where they find Mara and Zach. And Mara and Zach are like, hey, we sense you got some malcontent in you. Do you want to help us take over the world? And Aaron's like, heck yeah. Amber's like, heck no. But too bad they end up being part of the followers anyway. Yay! Soon after this, a battle ensues, and Mara injures Azura, giving him his black eyes and signature scar, I guess. Later on, Azura convinces Amber to come to the Wanderer's side, and she breaks free of Mara's control. Yay, everything's good, except oh no, Eren gets crazy jealous and literally hates Azura's guts from that day onward, if he didn't already. Cause like once he finds out that he is literally the reincarnated king who slaughtered his ancestors, that's not a good thing. So one day, Azura and Nova are walking around in the forest because they're on patrol, trying to find any newcomers to Dreamworld, making sure that the followers don't get to them first, because that would be bad. And who do they run into but Eren? And he gets crazy jealous and mad in a split second, is like, this is their fault. And in an act of brashness and anger, he shoots Nova with him gun, and this causes a brief but intense fight between Azura and Eren to happen. Jesus. After this battle, Nova is left with a scar similar to Azura's. See, Eren shot Nova in her eye, so it kind of had the same effect that happened to Azura. Which really sucks considering Eren became one of the good guys like seconds afterwards. But hey, that's what happens, it's great. So, more things happen. I'm sorry. Listen, I have episodes written out someplace because I do want to make Wanderers into a show in the future, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna say that eventually the Wanderers... Oh, somewhere in there they get Zack on their side too. So eventually all the Wanderers and Zack and Amber and Eren finally take down Mara for good, and everything seems good until Nova has a dream and is visited by one of the spirits of Dreamworld, the Grey Spirit. And the Grey Spirit's like, hey, everything seems good here, but there's other timelines where things aren't so good. You really have to make sure that your brother doesn't get executed for his crimes. You should go back. You should go back in time and fix this. So Nova does. And she does again and again and again and again. Wanderers in its main form is a looping story. It won't end until Nova can break free from this chain that happens. So yeah, that's Wanderers. Alright, so I guess next we'll talk about creators. This one and another story actually intertwine a lot, but I'm going to explain creators first. So, the main characters in creators are Strauss Kurai, not Zero. He changed the name. Learn it, Twitter! Okay, I'm sorry. Strauss Kurai, Scarface Red, and me! Toto! I start off with just my first name, but eventually I adopt Strauss's last name because he adopted me. So, Creators mainly follows Strauss's story in a sense. Me and Grim Fuko already have it all written down. There's so much of this story that I really cannot explain it in one video. But basically, let me think of a basic synopsis. Strauss was once just a normal creation on a normal world, and one day he and his mother, Pandora, were killed in an alleyway by some people who didn't like their kind. Strauss's soul is found by a very, very powerful goddess named Gaia, who resurrects him and takes him under her wing to learn the ways of creation. Now, Gaia is not what she seems, because eventually Strauss learns that all she cares about is the concept of purity, which means that a story is essentially just, it's not a story. It's just plain, and it's light in its most boring capacity. If a world is pure, it essentially means that nothing happens. There's just nothing there, and the people there don't get to have a story. It's not fun. When Strauss learns this about Gaia and was like, no, I'm going to leave, Gaia's like, no, kicks and locks him in his room for quite a bit until he manages to escape. A year after Strauss's escape from Gaia, he meets me, and the way the way I meet Strauss is actually pretty funny. It's not funny when I explain this first part, but basically, I was kicked out of my home because a very bad man by the name of Pharos was coming to get me, and my parents said, "Oh, no, you are leaving," and turned me into space dust and got me on my way. By the way, my species is literally made out of stardust, so don't worry. So my space dust kind of floated around for a bit and reformed itself in a very barren, cold space. It's the first time that I had been truly alone. It was not fun. After a few weeks, I decided to try to find home, and in doing so, I stumbled upon Strauss's worlds. And I decided to make myself comfy, and eventually, well, I got a little bit too comfy and started creating things. And Strauss noticed and was like, "Hey, listen, if you want to work on this, it's fine. We can work on it together. This will be both of our worlds." I'm like, "Yes." That's the that's the story. And we also in that time developed our sibling relationship. um, um, the way we meet Red is one day Strauss is wandering around the multiverse, just having fun, and he sees Red impaled by a spear on a beach, and he's like, "Whoa, what? Okay, I gotta help this girl out." He does, and she's like, "Oh, hi, my name's Red. By the way, the royal sisters are chasing me," and he's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, so here's the dealio." Wait, she's like, "Wait, you know Gaia? Oh god, I was just getting chased by her sisters." Strauss is like, "She has sisters?" And before you know it, her sisters, Crescent and Venus, are chasing after them both. So they escape back home. Here's, yeah. Um, here's them. Sorry, getting overwhelmed. So Strauss and Red escape by the skin of their teeth and come back home. I think that's enough explaining creators for right now, because if I did any more, it would take all night. So creators intersects a lot with our next story on the list, which is Lightverse, which is actually the world that I found originally and settled down in. And I made Uriel, aka the Angel's Guardian, aka my first character that I've had since middle school that I haven't changed the look of or aesthetic of in that time because I love her too much. I think I do. I want Uriel to represent like that first OC, that first creation. Because like yeah, she is meant to be like very powerful and very protagonistic, and but I think that's what gives her charm. She embodies that like simple character that you first made, you know? You know what I mean. You artists know what I mean out there, right? So anyway, we have we have Uriel, aka the Angel's Guardian. We have X the Magnificent, who is about as protagonistic as you can get. Next, we have Aaron Duval, aka Darkclaw, who is a cybernetically enhanced soldier, who is a who is a wisecracking father figure to the rest of the crew. Next, we have Castor, aka Exocyte. Castor is actually a clone of Strauss made to serve and protect this world in Strauss's stead. I think that's the right word. He starts off with a pretty bland, basic personality, but over time, through interacting with the other characters, he slowly starts coming into his all, learning about himself. And I beg to argue that the story pretty much revolves around him. I know I have these three in the front, but a lot of the plot's issues really just kind of follow him. Um, so next to Castor, we have his little buddy. This is Felix Luz, aka Delta, which is the superhero name he chose for himself. Towards the beginning of the story, his mother goes into a coma, and this is soon after Delta meets Exocyte during a mission. He saved him from a robot. So Delta runs to the house of the rest of the crew and is like, "Hey, where's Castor? I need to see him. I don't know what to do." And Darklaw's like, "Okay, yeah, we're adopting this kid for the time being until his mom gets better." Um, so he's very much a moral support character for the rest of the Lightverse crew, and Castor is very fond of him, as in like a like you are my little buddy, I must protect you. um, and the last of the main characters are the X brothers, which are Xenos and Ajax. Ajax is he lives in Lightverse, but his job is to kind of patrol the perimeter around mine and Strauss's home to make sure that no one tries to attack us. And if he does see people coming, he lets us know what's up so that we can try to fend them off. I made Xenos for Ajax because I thought he was lonely. And much like Castor, Xeno started off as a very blank, normal personality, but again, over time with interacting with everyone else, his personality really started to come through, and now he's a really energetic little shonen boy, and I love him. There are a bunch of other background character, not background. There are a bunch of other like secondary main cast characters in Lightverse, but I don't really have time to go into them right now. I'm sure you guys will meet them later. Oh yeah, basic plot of Lightverse. So like I was saying before, the plot of Lightverse kind of focuses on Castor developing his powers and his personality and finding himself, and eventually Lightverse crosses over with creators when both teams, we'll say teams, when both teams are threatened by a very big evil force that I unfortunately cannot get into right now because I think this recording's already long enough. The last story out of the main four is Penultimate, which I will say is probably the least developed out of all the stories because it is also, in a way, the newest. We haven't written much, but I love these characters too much and I don't want to let them go. So, a bit of backstory. Penultimate was originally going to be a big collaboration project between me and Group Fuko and a lot of our creative allies, we'll say. But it eventually kind of petered out into nothingness and didn't really go anywhere. But I got way too attached to this muffin right here, Koda-sung. So we decided to keep her and make a new story revolving around her. So there's only two main characters. It's Koda-sung and Caden McIntosh. Caden aspires to be a not famous. Caden aspires to be a superhero. He wants to help people, and he's overall just a really good guy, and Koda's bestest buddy in the whole wide world. Koda's motive is more of a vendetta, because years before the main events of the story, Koda was living in a really small wooden shack with her siblings, Princeton and Arya, and they were unfortunately killed by this guy, Jasper Stone. Now, this is the only art I've done of him, so trust me, I'm not surprised if you guys don't recognize him. Yeah, Koda essentially made it her goal to get through her education because people get magic through school in this universe and take down this Jasper Stone. But it's also kind of a mystery because Koda doesn't know it was this person. She has to track him down first. And even though Caden doesn't exactly agree with the killing thing, he still wants to help her and support her nonetheless, which I think is just a wholesome friendship in general. Um, Again, we still got some kinks to iron out with this one, but I hope you guys like where this goes. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I love all of the stories that we've made over the last years. On the day I'm recording this, it's only a few days off from Wanderer's 5-year anniversary. It boggles my mind that a dumb collaboration project that was meant to be a parody of an animator I like could become something so wonderful, something I love so much and put everything I have into, and something that I want to make into an actual cartoon someday. Like, this thing is my life. Like, this story has been around for a quarter of my life. That is crazy. Like, I can't wait to see where we'll take it in the future, and I hope I'm getting emotional. I hope you guys are excited too, because we've got some big things coming for all these stories. Just remember, we're for right now, we're two people. It's kind of hard. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Koto, aka Cosmic. If you're interested in seeing these stories grow, um, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want, only if you want, I don't care. And check out my other social medias. Here we go. Yeah. Um, I don't really know how to end this video. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. Yeah, and have a good day.